of my YouTube videos, so very exciting. I'm Carla, I run Prana Yoga Studio in Hamilton, and today we have a severe weather alert, so we've had to cancel all the classes. And I was speaking to another teacher at the studio, Mark Russell, this morning. I think he's going to do a Facebook Live post at his normal time of 8 o'clock. If you know me, you'll know that technology and I aren't fantastic. Hopefully that will get better once I upload this and send it to you. And I thought that I would do a little class today, just in case you were really desperate and you really didn't want to miss out on your yoga this evening. So this is for my Wednesday night yogis, 5:30 and 6:30 yogis at Prana Yoga Studio. So sorry to cancel, but hopefully you'll get a chance to with this. So if you don't normally practice with me, if you're practicing along with this video, I would urge you to think about the principles of yoga, which is to practice postures from a place of non-harming. And that means to not push past your comfort zone or push past the edge of your stretch. You are still challenging yourself in all of the poses that we practice, but you do so consciously with the breath, very, very carefully. And if you experience any pain at all as you practice, then please back off and take a lighter version of the pose, or just come into child's pose or relaxation pose as needed. Okay, so we're going to get started with a little warm-up for the kidneys. So this is a winter style class, very, very apt for today, and according to traditional Chinese medicine, one of the areas of the body that we need to work on, we need to nourish in winter time, are the kidneys. And the kidneys help to regulate the water levels in our system, and according to traditional Chinese medicine also, winter is the time to focus on the water element outside and inside. So we think about the lymphatic system in the body to help improve our immunity. We think about the kidneys and the bladder, and there are energetic lines associated with both of these organs in the body, and we'll do some postures that will help to stretch those meridians out, get some energy flowing within those meridians, hopefully to build up your energetic bank account, to help nourish your body, and to stop you from feeling depleted, from feeling fatigued, which can really happen quite often at this time of year, especially as we're coming to the end of winter. Okay, so we're going to do just a little kidney rub. Okay, really simple. You're going to make soft fists, and with the flat part of the fists, we're going to rub into the kidney area of the body. So just around about where the kidneys lie, they lie just at underneath the last few ribs. So they're protected by your rib cage, and if you rub really, really fast, really vigorously, you're going to start to build friction and build some heat in that area. So you're probably told by your mum or your gran to cover up your kidneys, stop them from getting a chill, and this little rub really helps to build a lot of heat in that area. So we're rubbing, 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 rub-a-dub-a-dub in the kidney area, and then change direction. And already you might start to feel quite warm. I'm feeling very warm next to a lovely fire. In fact, I'll turn that down. Maybe a bit too warm. Okay, and then just shake it out. Exhale through the mouth. And just pause for a moment, and you might start to feel quite charged with energy around about the kidneys, and you might feel a nice warm glow there starting to radiate across the back. And it also starts to warm up that part of the back and the connective tissue surrounding the bones and surrounding the lungs, all of that area around about there. Okay, so just pause for a moment and witness that. And begin to connect to your breath. So breathing in and out through the nose nice and deeply. Root down strongly through the feet. Okay, and come to the top of your mat, and we'll begin some nice, easy, cozy winter sun salutations. Okay, so coming to the front of the mat, the feet can be hip width. I'd encourage the feet to be hip width if you have any issues in the hamstrings, with tight hamstrings, or any issues at all in your lower back. Connect to muscles in the pelvic floor. So these muscles are associated with energetic locks in the body. The ones in the pelvic floor are associated with mula bandha, which is your root lock. It means your root lock, and that allows you to feel quite stable and quite strong in your stance. And then we have uddiyana bandha, which relates to the muscles in the lower part of the abdomen below the navel. And the best way to connect to them is at the end of your exhale. So take a deep breath in, and when you breathe out, squeeze the hip bones together, squeeze the tailbone, pubic bone together, and find a lift in the centre. Keep that lift, keep that strength there, and on your next exhale also add in uddiyana bandha, which is your upward flying lock, and that helps to send energy upwards. Physically it helps to protect your lower back. Okay, so these deep internal muscles, when they're connected, act as an energetic lock, and when you breathe deeply with Ujjayi breathing, so if you know Ujjayi breathing, you can breathe along with me. You're breathing in with sound, okay, so you're breathing a nice soft sound. If you can hear me, try and listen. So you're breathing very deeply into the ribs, out from the ribs. So breathing in and out of the thoracic area of the body and keeping this area nice and still, nice and connected. So on your next inhale, we'll reach the arms all the way up and look up to your thumbs. And then exhale, take the arms wide and begin to fold forwards from the hips, and keep your knees nice and soft. You can bring the hands to the ground, or you can bring them to blocks, or if you don't have any blocks, then use books. And let the head drop, and we'll breathe here in a nice easy forward fold, and just you're starting to feel the spine lengthen and decompress. Let the crown release towards the ground, and then bring the hands up to the shin bones. Take a deep breath in as you begin to lengthen the front of the spine, like you're moving the heart towards the front end of your mat. And then exhaling, forward fold, bring the hands back to the floor, and on your next breath in, rise all the way up, reaching the arms upwards and looking to the thumbs, and exhale to bring the hands down the centre line, pausing here. So bring the arms back down by your sides and take a deep breath in as you reach the arms up. Exhaling, diving forwards and down, bring the hands to the floor, let the head and neck release. Deep breath in as you reach forwards with the heart. Exhale as you bow the head down. Deep breath in as you come all the way up. Exhaling to bring the hands down the centre line towards the heart. On your next exhale, bring the arms down by your side. And again, deep breath in, reaching up. So these are half sun salutations. You're just allowing the body to kind of get used to these poses, forward bends and very gentle back bends. Deep breath in as you come all the way up. And exhale to bring the hands back to the heart. So pause for a moment here. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you're welcome to do that. So that could be the reason why you're doing yoga in the first place. It could be just to remain strong, to remain steady, or it could be to go with the flow, working into the water element of the practice. It could be just to give yourself a bit of time to focus on the breath and to help release your mind from being involved in thoughts. So that's ultimately what yoga is all about. We're helping to still the mind with our breath and with our movements. So take the arms down by your sides. We're going to go through some nice gentle sun salutations. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up. We're going to add in some variations and just go nice and easy. Deep breath in, lift the heart up. Exhaling as you step the feet slowly back, coming into plank pose. Take a deep breath in here, and then exhaling, bring the knees down to the floor, point the toes, and come all the way down to the floor. And slide your hands forwards, come into Sphinx pose, and allow the spine to gently curve into an even C shape, lifting the heart up. And from here, maybe lift the elbows, the forearms a little bit off the floor if you want a deeper back bend, but go very easy, seeing as this is your first one. And then bring it all the way down. So exhaling, coming all the way down to the floor. Bring the hands underneath the elbows and squeeze the elbows in towards the sides. On your next breath in, peel the heart up off the floor for baby cobra. And then exhaling to take it down. And again, lift up a little higher. And then exhale to bring it down. Keeping the legs strong, the feet are pressing into the ground. Deep breath in. And deep breath out as you come down. Tuck your chin under, deep breath in as you rise up onto the hands and knees. And take an exhale as you hinge the hips back, moving all the way back into child's pose. So you can sway the body a little bit side to side, and then let the head settle. And continue to focus on your breath. Deep breath in and deep breath out here. And let your shoulders relax. Let your shoulders relax and let your head be supported. If it doesn't feel good to have the head on the floor, then stack fists and let the forehead rest on the hands. On your next breath in, rise up onto the hands and knees. Bring your knees back in if they were out to the sides, and take a deep breath in, lifting up in the heart and in the tailbone for cow pose. And then exhaling to move into cat. So sucking in with the lower belly here. Deep breath in as you lift the heart, lift the tailbone. And then deep breath out as you round. So as you round, you're pressing the hands actively into the ground. Deep breath in. So bringing some fluidity to the spine, go nice and easy. Deep breath in, coming to a neutral position, and from this point, tuck the toes under, reach the hands into the floor, lift your knees up, sending your hips high away from the wrists. So moving into downward facing dog. But for this down dog, keep the heels really high. You may want to sway your hips a little bit side to side. And think about really lengthening your spine, lengthening out the whole spine, letting the head dangle. And bend one knee, press your opposite heel to the floor. Inhale to lift both heels back up. Exhale, press the opposite heel down. Inhale, both heels up. Exhale, opposite heel to the floor. So just continue to pad the heels down to the floor one at a time to help lengthen out the back of the legs. Good. Bend the knees, stepping the feet into the front. Have your feet hip width and take a nice deep breath in, either with the hands on the shins, fingertips on the floor, or heels of the hands on the floor. And then exhaling into forward fold. So remember, you're welcome to bend your knees. Don't straighten the legs at the expense of the spine. Okay, try and keep the spine long. You're staying connected to bandhas as you move into your forward fold. And bring the hands up to the forearms and give yourself a gentle sway side to side. Let the head dangle again. Working on decompressing the spine. We're also working on gently coaxing the fascia in the body, connective tissue in the body, to start to open, to become a little warmer, building a bit of friction to help increase flexibility. And then bring the hands to the floor. Bend your knees, take a deep breath in, lengthen up halfway again, like you're scooping the chest up, like you're in cobra pose, and then exhale to bring it back down again. On your next breath in, come all the way up to standing, reaching the arms up, strong in the legs, and then exhaling, equal standing pose with the hands at the heart, shoulders are relaxed, reaching up through the crown. Okay, so we'll practice another nice, easy, slow sun salutation with variations. Continuing to let the breath lead your movement. Deep breath in. Deep breath out as you step your feet back to come into plank. Now you're strong in plank. You can come down onto the knees again or practice chaturanga if it's in your practice. Deep breath in, coming up into baby cobra again. Exhaling to bring it down. So we'll do another two. You're not attempting to put too much weight into the hands. It's more like a contraction of the back and a lift in the heart that's moving you into the pose. And then exhale to bring it down. Tuck your chin under, lengthen your neck. Deep breath in as you come up onto the hands and knees. Deep breath out as you hinge your hips back. Keep it nice and fluid. No static poses just now. Deep breath in as you come up. Tuck your toes under, come into downward facing dog. And again, you might like to pad the heels down, especially if the heels don't want to come to the floor, or if you're feeling like the back of the legs are really tight at any part, the hamstrings behind the knees, the calf muscles, Achilles. If any part of the leg feels tight, then it might feel really nice to do this. Or you can move your heels over to one side if you're finding that you're really tight in your shoulders or around about your shoulder blade. So keep flowing with your breath in any transitions or when you're holding any of the poses, and bend your knees, stepping your feet towards the front. Now you can step or you can tiptoe. Tiptoe the feet all the way to the front and take a deep breath in, lifting the heart up, exhaling to fold, and then inhaling to float all the way up and exhaling for equal standing pose. Pause for a moment and close your eyes, focusing on the breath, feeling the energy flowing through the body now as we warm the body gently up. Now take a deep breath in and a deep breath out as you fold, keeping the spine nice and long, hands to the floor, the head and neck release. Deep breath in as you lift and lengthen. Exhaling as you step your feet back, come into plank. Inhaling plank, exhaling, maybe through chaturanga this time. And inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra pose. And then exhale to take it into downward facing dog. Breathing, Ujjayi breath. Strengthening through the hands, and spreading the fingers, rooting down through the heels of the hands, but also evenly through the knuckles of the fingers. Spread the toes. So you're feeling your foundation and strengthening into that, and finding lightness through Uddiyana Bandha, so hollowing out in the lower belly. And from here, just lower down onto the knees. Bring the big toes together, hinge your hips back, coming into child's pose. Deep breath in and deep breath out here. On your next breath in, rise up onto the hands and knees and take cat-cow pose again. So lifting the heart as you breathe in, exhaling, you're drawing in, strengthening through your centre. And again, deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more time like this, deep breath in. And deep breath out. Coming back to centre as you breathe in. And bring the knees slightly in towards your midline. On your next breath in, lengthen your right leg up and back. Keep lifting the heart. Think about lengthening the front of the body And then when you breathe out, bring the knee to the forehead, forehead to knee. Inhale, lifting up and back. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. Exhale. One more time, deep breath in. And deep breath out. When you breathe in, just lower the knee down, pausing for a moment, and we'll practice that on the other side. So, lengthen to inhale. Exhaling, it's a strengthening and drawing in with the center. Inhale, lift. Exhaling to draw in. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. Exhaling to stretch out the back of the body. And then lower your knee down. Good. Take another child's pose. And again, you might want to send the hips side to side as you sway a little side to side. But turn the palms of the hands up. And a gentle squeeze in, a gentle release. Squeeze in and release. And you can let the head rest as you do that. So take a nice breath in as you come back up onto the hands and knees. And tuck your toes under. Inhale to gently lift the knees off the floor. Exhale as you press the hips up and back. Moving into downward facing dog. The heels can be high, both heels can be down, or you can do one at a time. So it's important that we practice with kindness, with a sense of non-harming, and with honesty and contentment too. So bend the knees, just being happy wherever you're at. Taking the feet to the front, take the hands to the shins, take a deep breath in as you lengthen forwards. Exhale as you bow down. Tuck your chin under. Deep breath in as you rise all the way up. All the way up. Reaching the arms upwards and then exhaling for Samastitihi, equal standing pose. Good. Take a steadying breath in and out. On your next out breath, the feet are together for this. On your next out breath, bring the fingertips to the floor. And plant the feet firmly into the floor as you lower your hips down. On your next breath in, reach the arms up and take the arms wide. And then exhale to bring the hands to the floor and reach the hips up. Let the head bow down. Deep breath in as you lift the heart. Exhale as you step your feet back, coming into plank. Deep breath in plank. Exhale to lower yourself down to the floor. Inhaling for cobra or up dog. And then exhaling for downward facing dog. Pivot the left heel in. Step forwards with the right foot. And press down firmly through both feet. On your next breath in, reach the arms up for warrior one. Then bring the hands down the center line and we'll flow to warrior two. So turning the torso to the long side of the mat, float the arms out to the side, look down the middle finger. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Another breath in, reach the fingertips away and then exhale, move into side angle stretch, lifting up and over, looking towards the palm of the hand. When you're ready to breathe in again, rise up, open up, and then take the left hand to your leg and lift up and over for reverse warrior. Keep bending into your right knee. And deep breath in as you open up again. Exhaling, take the hands down to the floor and lower down onto your left knee. And you might want to take your blocks here or your books, whatever you have to support you in the pose. We'll come into lizard lunge. Okay, so heel toe your right foot off to the right. And keep the heart lifted and ease the hips slightly forwards. Okay, just as much as you can comfortably. And you can just kind of move your way ease your way into the pose. And we're going to hold this now. So we've been flowing through sun salutations, just bringing in that watery kind of quality. Although we're going to hold this for a few breaths now, it's important to still continue to move the body. So very, very gently, again, we're continuing to coax the connective tissues to open, so the whole body feels more open. And in this particular pose, we're working quite deeply into the hips, especially the hip flexors on the left side. We're also starting to work into the inner thigh. So this pose works quite strongly into the kidney meridian lines. So the kidney meridian lines start at the soles of the feet and move up the leg, the inner thigh, and then over the hip flexors and up towards the collarbones. So very, very strong in the front of the body, all the way up the front of the body. So breathing deeply into wherever you're feeling the intensity of the stretch. And you can stay here, keeping the heart lifted. You can take a variation, using your blocks if you like, to come down onto the forearms, but keep energy and lift in the heart. And maybe you're bringing it down to the floor for a variation on the pose. It might not necessarily feel deeper in the hips. You might start to feel this elsewhere in the body, but just explore. Always exploring, always breathing. Okay, and very, very slowly now, it's nice to use support with your blocks to help hinge the hips slowly back and heel toe your right foot back into the centre. Okay, so from here you want to make sure that the alignment of the heel is in line with your right hip. You can turn your blocks onto the highest position, or you can keep your hands on the floor. So from here we're going to flow from lunge position with the hips moving forwards, walking the blocks back, coming into half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. So turning the toes up, scooping the heart up, and then sending it forwards, and then sending it back. So now, not only are we working into the meridian lines of the bladder, but also starting to work very strongly into the bladder meridian lines, which run from here at the front of the body, the eye, all the way down the back, and they run down the hamstrings, down the calf muscles, towards the outer edge of the foot. Okay, so very deeply, especially into the hamstring area. Hamstrings and calves. So if your calf muscles are very tight, you can just allow the toes to point slightly forwards instead of flexing. So when you flex, you're going to feel it probably quite deeply into the calf muscles. So the next time you find yourself back in half splits, let's pause here for a few deep breaths. Now you're working with opposing energy here. You're sending energy down through the hips, diagonally downwards through the hips, and scooping the heart diagonally up. My fire's nearly out, so I'm going to need to stoke the fire, stick some more wood in the fire. So scoop the chest up and breathe and hold here while I stick another log on. Can't have the fire going out. Not in this weather. Okay. So from here come forwards into lunge, and then take the blocks or the books or whatever you have, cans work quite well, over to the side, and then bring yourself back into child's pose. So bring the right foot back, take your knees wide, and very slowly ease your way into child's pose, and take a moment to notice the energy around about the right hip, around about the right side of the back. When you're ready to inhale, rise up onto the hands and knees and come into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, pivot the right heel in, step forwards with the left foot and rise up into Virabhadrasana A, Warrior One. And then bring the hands down the centre line to the heart and open the body to the long side of the mat. Take a deep breath in, coming into Warrior Two. Again, looking down the middle finger, that's your drishti, your focus point. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, bring the forearm to the thigh, lean your body back and reach your arm up and over, looking up towards the centre of the palm. Deep breath in as you float back up to Warrior Two. Exhale to take it to the side, just being nice and flowing with your movements. Inhale, open back up again. Exhale, left hand down, right knee to the floor. Heel toe your left foot off to the left. I'll just scooch forwards in the mat. Okay, so you want a good bit of distance between your heel and your right knee. Coming into lizard lunge. So the left foot is off to the left at about 45 degrees. You're lifting your heart up, you're letting your hips move diagonally forwards and down. And just finding your way quite organically into the pose. So if you know this pose or any of these poses well, it's always really nice to practice with the eyes closed. And it just helps to withdraw your attention, drawing your attention inwards to help you to focus a little bit more on your breath and to be a bit more instinctive about how far you can approach into the pose or how far you can move into the pose. Okay, so keep breathing, Ujjayi breaths, nice steady breathing. And again, you're welcome to take variations coming down onto the forearms or coming all the way down to the floor. Yogi's choice. A couple more breaths here. And then taking your time, supporting yourself with the blocks to move out of the pose. Heel toe your left foot back in, or slide your foot back in, so that the heel is in line with the left hip. And again, we'll take our blocks and move our way into lunge and Jayasana. And then from here, take it back into half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana, half monkey pose. So you're drawing the toes in towards the hip and scoop the heart upwards as you send the hips diagonally down. And move yourself forwards. And again, once you've got this down, once you're comfortable moving between these 2 points, then you can start to close the eyes. Don't worry about the shapes that you're making. Don't worry about going too far into any of the poses. Just really notice how this feels for you. And just adopt a kind of go with the flow attitude. Just feeling nice and smooth in your transitions. And the next time you find yourself back in half splits, you can hang out here for a wee while. Make sure your hips are nicely aligned, that your left hip isn't too far forwards or hiked up at all. Just be nice and controlled and in your centre, engaging in Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, keeping the shoulders relaxed. So quite often we're unaware of the subconscious reactions to a pose. Usually we have those reactions in our shoulders or in our eyes, around our eyes, in our jaw, in the tongue even. So just be mindful of how all of this feels up here. And notice if you're thinking about the pose too much instead of feeling it and breathing into it and responding intelligently with the breath or with an adjustment and not just reacting with tension elsewhere in the body. Okay, and then very slowly move yourself forwards and take your foot back, coming into child's pose. Let the head move down to the floor, pausing for a moment here. Take a deep breath in, rise up onto the hands and knees, tucking your toes under, moving back carefully into downward facing dog. Noticing how the left side feels. Good. And bend your knees. Step your foot forward, right foot forwards, lower down onto your left knee. And here you can choose again to have your blocks, or you can have your hands down on the floor, perching the fingertips, and then hinge it back. So this time we're going to come into a forward fold over the leg. Okay, so just take it nice and easy. It doesn't matter how far your torso comes down or your head comes down. Again, you're just gently exploring the stretch, using the breath, being honest with yourself. And that just means not taking it too far, and also not shying away from sensation. So notice the difference, or know the difference between sensation and pain. Okay, they're two interesting and important distinctions to make in a yoga practice. Okay, and then from here, you might like to take it a little bit further. So I'd like you to use your blocks or use some support again, and then step forwards with the left heel. Tuck your back toes under and maybe move your left knee back. Continuing to breathe deeply and just taking your heel forwards, as far forwards as you can comfortably. And again, this is a pose which helps you to exercise patience, patience with your body, and honesty in your mind. Okay, if you are coming down quite deeply into the pose, you're welcome to use a block or something underneath. Okay, but make sure that you're still pressing into a block so that you can lift up out of the pose if it becomes uncomfortable. So continue to use the breath and the bandhas, and on your next breath then very, very slowly ease your way out of the pose. So if that pose for you was just half splits as we did before, great. All that we're doing here is gently easing into the pose, and over time your connective tissues in the back of the leg, in the hip area, and the lower back, and also the hip flexors on the other side will start to respond to all of these poses, helping to bring more freedom into the body to allow you to go a little bit deeper each time. Okay, so from here, downward facing dog. Another side. So back into lunge, and then exhaling into half splits again with a forward fold. So lifting the heart and exhaling to fold forwards. Use support if you need it. And again, please don't worry about how far you're coming down into the pose. If you need to bend the knee, you're bending the knee. If you need to point the toes or let the foot relax, then you're letting the foot relax. But stay connected to breath and bandha. And then take your blocks, take your support again, and maybe stepping the heel forwards to wherever it wants to come to. Now for me on my left side, I'm far more restricted than I am in my right, so I just need to be happy with wherever I am in the pose, and I'm most definitely exercising patience and honesty, contentment, and yeah, I get people to smile a lot in this pose because it's so lovely to have the opportunity to recognise the imbalances in the body and to be okay with them. Okay, so stay connected to bandhas, connected to breath, maybe close the eyes, soften around the shoulders, around the face, and very gently press the hands into your blocks, slide your heel in and come back into child's pose. Blocks by your side, sending the hands forwards. If you were pressing down quite strongly in the blocks, again it's nice just to squeeze and release, squeeze and release. And for now, we'll just rise up onto the hands and knees, tuck the toes under, very slowly coming to a seated position. Okay, crossing your legs. I'm going to turn around and face you. Okay. And very gently, I'm going to take a nice twist, so left hand to right knee, take a deep breath in, lifting the heart, exhale. Just moving the gaze over the shoulder. Only if that feels okay in your neck. You're welcome to keep the chin in line with the chest and just work into the mid-spine. And then inhale back to centre. We'll take the other side. Deep breath in as you lift and lengthen. Exhaling, gentle twist. Breathing deep. Inhaling back to centre. And bringing yourself into a very comfortable seat. So that was a mini practice, maybe about half an hour I think. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's certainly not the full class. If you have time now, you can practice some back bends, you can practice some inversions. But for the time being, we'll just pause. We'll pause, lifting the heart up, softening the shoulders. Scan the body now, softening from the tips of the toes, through the feet, up through the legs, into the hips, lengthening the spine upwards. Heart is effortlessly lifted. Releasing any tension in the shoulders, releasing tension down the arms, down into the hands, the fingers, fingertips. Gently lengthening the neck, releasing the jaw, softening the skin of the face and reaching up through the crown. So now that you've relaxed, softened the muscles in the body, we'll let go of all effort now with the breath. So as you let go of all effort with the breath, just observe it and notice your breathing slowing down, becoming more shallow, becoming light, it's almost becoming still. And as you closely observe your breathing, notice that there are pauses between the breaths. Notice the sense of stillness in those pauses, where you feel almost suspended in space. Notice that stillness is reflected within your body and within the mind. So in our winter practice today, flow a river. You can imagine that flowing river flowing down into a lake. This pool of water becoming still. Anytime your mind begins to wander or becomes involved in any thoughts, just label that as thinking and bring your awareness back to the breath. Just let the thoughts float away. You can imagine those thoughts like gentle ripples in the lake. Ripples on the surface. And underneath those ripples, the lake is completely still. So we're going to continue to be aware and be absorbed in that stillness as we very gently move ourselves into Shavasana. So take your time and get on some extra layers. Wrap yourself up in a nice blanket. You can use cushions, you can use a bolster if you have one, or just roll up another blanket and put it underneath your knees. And if you have an eye pillow or something just to put over the eyes, that will help to deepen your relaxation too. And just make your way onto the floor, extending the heels out from the hips and the arms out just by your sides about 45 degrees, and let your head rock gently side to side. And let your body completely release. And enjoy Shavasana for as long as you need to. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Namaste.